Wow, that's a brilliant cover story you got going there for you, Vicky, my friend Steve replied, as I gave Renee the offer. Dude, don't even start with me. Come on, you and I both know that taking science first hour is just convenient. Don't lie to me, you think the new girl's cute, and you're trying to get some solo time. Slick moves, bro. Oh, would you shut up, Steve? I replied, frustrated. So you don't think she's cute? No, that's not what I said, I replied to Steve. Of course she's cute, it's just that... Oh, you... And just like that, Steve had suckered me into telling her that I thought she was cute. Steve wasn't always the brightest guy, but when it came to suckering you in, to telling the truth about things, he had a black belt in that. I don't know how he does it. It's like a talent, a sixth sense. It's half endearing and half annoying. And it looks like Steve strikes again, Lisa said with a big smile on her face. You know, one of these days you're going to learn to stop falling into it. I mean, really, you have a black belt. Don't those martial arts teachers train you to hone your mind or something like that? Sorry, Lisa, but that's not how martial arts works. Whoa, hold up. You have a black belt? I heard Renee say, turning back to her for a moment. Here's your chance, bro. She obviously digs martial artists. Work with it, Steve said, chuckling. Shut up, Steve. Yeah, he's totally a martial artist, babe. In fact, he just won the state regionals. This guy breathes martial arts. Half the time he tends to ditch out on us just to go to his practices. He already got a black belt in one martial art. What are you trained in? I always forget. It's Jeet Kune Do, man. The same martial artist from all those old school famous martial arts movies. He's the one who made it, remember? It's famous. Yeah, and after mastering that, you're already planning on taking up another one. Tell me, are you just going to systematically learn them all? I don't know, I replied. But next I was thinking about taking Krav Maga. I hear very good things. Well, that's actually pretty impressive, Renee said. I was actually interested because my dad's actually a martial artist. Kind of fanatical about it, actually. Oh, for real? I replied to Renee. Yeah, absolutely. You should see his trophy collection and his belt collection. It stretches on forever. He's trained in just about everything. Not just trained, but mastered. He's tried to get me into it before, but I've never really gone for it, Renee said as she adjusted her backpack a bit. So your dad really has that much training? I mean, I know we just met and all, but if your dad's really that good, do you think maybe you could talk to him for me? Maybe get some advice on a good place to get some training. As I said, the next one I'm going for is Krav Maga. I don't think talking to him about martial arts is going to be a problem, Renee replied. As far as that topic goes, if it's martial arts, he's interested. And he won't just suggest a good teacher. If I tell him I'm hanging out with somebody who's actually a martial arts champion, he'll probably want to meet you himself and see if you've got any real talent in his opinion. He might even teach you a thing or two. For real? I replied. That would be awesome. This school may be many things, but filled with people who are purveyors of the martial arts, it is definitely not. In fact, I think I'm the only person in town who does it. Seriously, I have to actually leave town to go to my practices. It's one of the reasons it's so time-consuming. But if you want to get good, you gotta practice. Lots of training, lots of repetition. Oh, you don't have to tell me, Renee replied. My dad spends hours every day training. So, are you into anything else, or is it just martial arts? Just want to know if you're a one-trick pony, so to speak, Renee said, tilting her head and giving a bit of a sly grin. No, my interests are varied. Martial arts is just my favorite, that's all. Actually, me and my friends were talking about going to a concert here pretty soon. In case you're wondering, no, it's not the Vicky Voice concert that everyone is raving about. Tickets to that have been sold out for a long time, and it's not really my thing anyways. But there is another concert coming up. Much smaller. Basically, one town over. Once a year they hold a rock concert, where they invite local bands to perform. They have a big set of contests and performances to whittle down who actually gets to make it to the concert. And every year the top 10 bands perform. So you get to hear music from people who, well, haven't already become rich and famous, and drown themselves in a pile of drugs and money. You know, when their music is still kinda good, I said laughingly. Oh, that actually sounds pretty cool. So, when is this concert? Renee asked. Oh, it's this weekend, actually. Me, Steve, and Lisa were planning on catching it. If you're down, you can come along for the ride. That is, if you can tolerate Steve's wagon of a vehicle. Unfortunately, it's the only one we have. Oh, I wouldn't worry about his car. I have my own. In fact, I can come pick you guys up if you want. It's probably much better than Steve's car, Renee said, as she looked past me a little bit to Steve and Lisa. Whoa, new girl's got a car. She's a keeper. I know there are lots of cliques to choose from at this school, but please choose ours. We need a better car. Hey, the Steve Mobile has done just fine, Steve replied. It gets us from point A to point B, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But it also smells like an old shoe. And come on, that paint job, Lisa said, putting her hand over her face for a moment, just thinking about how embarrassing it is being seen in that thing. Hey, that paint job is custom. Yeah, custom rusted, Lisa replied. Hey, still custom, Steve retorted, crossing his arms defensively. It was at that point we heard the bell start to go off. So, as usual, as soon as it did, we started rushing to class. This time with a new tag-along. Steve and Lisa had other classes, but me and Renee rushed off to science. As we entered the classroom, I went ahead and took my seat. Unfortunately, there weren't any chairs nearby me, so Renee ended up taking an unoccupied seat somewhere near the back of the class. But as there was a new student in attendance, of course the teacher called her up front. Mr. Dorson was a fair science teacher, a portly older fellow. He wasn't always pleasant, but he was at least fair when it came to teaching, meaning he wasn't a complete ass. Okay, well, class, it appears that we have a new student in attendance, so let's welcome her to the classroom. Miss Renee Hollowfield, if you would step to the front of the class and introduce yourself. Give a few details, perhaps, about yourself, your life, your personality, where you come from. All of that nice stuff, so the students can get to know you. Renee stood up and made her way to the front of the class as the teacher asked. There, standing in front of everyone, she raised her white hand and gave a bit of a wave. Hello, my name's Renee Hollowfield. As far as a few details about me, as far as the music I like, mostly rock. As far as my hobbies go, I'm a fair painter, and I also play the violin, and have since I was a kid. I wanted to take the drums, but my mom insisted it wasn't ladylike, she said, as the class chuckled a bit amongst themselves. I know, right? Typical parents. But despite everything, I actually do enjoy the violin. Hey, are you single? One of the guys in the classroom shouted. Hey, now that's enough of that, the teacher replied, as some of the members of the classroom started to chuckle. Renee, thinking quick on her feet, replied, "Well, if the only option for dating someone is you, then I'm definitely single and staying that way." Which the entire class erupted in laughter to. It appeared that the new girl had some personality. A good thing, too. Looks are nice, but without a decent personality, it eventually falls short. But it looks like the new girl is covered in spades. Yeah, I definitely have to get to know her, I thought to myself, sitting at my desk. And this concert seems to be a golden opportunity. The category of girlfriend hasn't been filled for me in a while. I'm hoping I can change that.